Almost 11 million border encounters since 2021 and more than 650,000 people on the ICE detention list, which means that big percentage of those people are wanted, and this is what's going on with the Trump policies. Today I'm going to address the issue of what's going on with the current immigration policies and what's going to be in the future according to the current news. At the end of this video, you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation in your case. Let's go! Hello, my dear friends. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. Today, I want to discuss you the current immigration policies and issues that we're facing during the Trump administration. Because there is a crisis on the border, there are a lot of things that not only affecting the border itself, but that kind of cripples in all type of immigration, including the legal immigration. Right now, we hear a lot of news about people being detained at the entrance of the country, even though they could have a valid visa, valid working visa, tourist visa, student visa, and all these kind of things. Of course, we need to pay attention to what's going on not only on the border, but other policies that are being implemented by Trump administration, and also see how that affects the legal side of immigration, the ones that we are the fans of. And I've been telling for months that Trump's administration is no enemy to the legal immigration. However, this does not find 100% proof throughout today's news. So what do we see as to the executive orders that have been signed by Trump from the beginning of his administration? Policy number one, remain in Mexico. That policy means that if you're trying to cross the border from Mexico to the US, while the procedural things are going on, a person will remain on the Mexican side. Why? Well, if there is something wrong and that person is not admittable under any existing program, that's much easier for the US government just not to let that person in and just keep it outside without losing any additional resources. Policy number two, Trump administration ended the humanitarian paroles for Venezuelans, Haitians, and Cubans. And that policy has been in place for many years. And right now, more than 500,000 immigrants from these countries are in a legal limbo. Why is this important? Well, because all type of temporary programs like U4U for Ukrainians, TPSs, and all kind of programs that US government is providing to other countries will be ending. And also, the people coming from those countries for which those programs were developed also kind of get affected by these policies, because a lot of people who were getting those programs, they were getting them through fraud. That was the main reason why Trump's administration is trying to cancel those programs, actually canceling them, and investigating people who applied for the benefits on these programs. And you want to ask me the question, Stanislav, what about the current like O1 visas, EB1As, EB2NIWs, and all other visas that you're specializing in? What about them? Can Trump actually cancel them? Well, in theory, everything is possible, but he cannot do it through the executive order. Right? So to cancel those programs, he needs to pass the bill through the House of Representatives and the Senate to make sure that both chambers actually vote on those programs, on canceling those programs, and then he will sign that bill to become the law. I do not see that happening because the legal immigration has never been an issue between both parties, Democrats and Republicans. There's a bipartisan agreement that legal immigration not only should be here and stay here, but it also needs to evolve to bring the best people in the US. Policy number three, and it's only 3 out of a dozen of similar immigration policies where people who were not properly admitted, right now they have to register with USCIS. It's kind of laughable policy because people who went through the border without actually being admitted or inspected or giving some kind of parole, why would they even go and submit themselves to some kind of fingerprinting and things like that? It's kind of ridiculous, but that's what we have to deal with right now. And these kind of policies, they spread across the border to even the programs that are legally obtained. And we hear and we see the fact that the Chinese students, for example, are being targeted by the Trump administration, not only by revoking of the existing visas, but also filing an actual bill with the House of Representatives. And you guys can check it. It's HR 1234. That's the name of the bill that actually kind of looks to cancel all student visas for all Chinese students. I don't believe it will ever pass, but the steps that are being taken, they're pretty crazy. Also, Trump deployed the military staff at the border between Mexico and the US. And that was one of the first steps that his administration did. Again, showing the seriousness of his intent and showing that he will answer to those promises he has done during his campaign. What's the impact of these current policies for the illegal immigration? Well, by the statistics, we see 85% drop on how many people are crossing the border. Those policies definitely work. But again, this is not our concern what is illegal immigrants do. Our concern, the legal immigration. And in this context, I want to discuss with you guys the potential law that was leaked a few weeks ago, talking about new travel ban and dividing the countries that are affected in 3 baskets. Okay? You can call it group, baskets, whatever. And there's a color code, red, orange, and yellow. And in a red basket, there are countries such as Syria, North Korea, and such, right? The classic basket that, everybody think about. And we know that those countries always kind of targeted by Trump and even Biden's administration. So those countries in the red basket, they gonna get a total ban to enter the US. We don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think too many people still coming from those countries to US, even without that ban, but with that ban, that's gonna be complete. The second basket is orange, and I was surprised to see there Russia and Belarus among other countries like Pakistan and such. We don't know if this list is exhaustive and those countries are gonna stay, because last time when similar travel ban was implemented during the Trump administration from 2017, the first list of the countries did not really match the final list of the countries. So with that in mind, we kind of take this with a grain of salt. We don't know if it was leaked on purpose just to scare a bunch of countries to bend to some demands from the Trump administration, or it's really the intent to keep them there. So these countries get a limited access to the US. And there are some exceptions. Let's say business purposes, and I would add professional and highly qualified people will also be a part of the exception to this basket. And what does it practically mean for us? So if you're from one of those countries in the orange basket, if you qualify for EB-1A, O-1, H-1B, EB-2NW, and similar visas where you can actually benefit the US, you're probably okay. Of course, it's gonna make it harder and more difficult, but at the end of the day, the result is what matters. And the final basket, the yellow, those countries, they get some kind of additional scrutiny to go over to see if there was some kind of fraud in obtaining a visa and those kind of things. So countries from that basket need to worry less. And the names of some countries from there is Zimbabwe, Cameroon, and such. Again, waiting for that policy to actually be released, because there is no smoke without fire, and once that list is finalized, we're gonna address it specifically. Now, what's gonna happen with the people who already in the US, and regardless if they entered legally or they entered illegally, or if they entered legally and the policy changed, what's gonna happen with them? Well, most likely we'll get a bunch of orders for deportation of these people, and ICE is going to enforce it. And we'll see a lot of news and people being separated from the rest of the family, leaving the country because they got apprehended. So it's not going to look pretty, but that's the reality we guys live in. But if you are legally here and you got your green card, it's going to be a very hard job for ICE, USCIS, and other agencies involved to get rid of you. So for that, you need to act now and don't postpone filing your green card petition. What are the best options in this respect to get the green card? I suggest there are two main visas that you guys should look at. This is EB-1A and EB-2 NIW, the talent visa and national interest waiver. Those are one of the fastest ways to obtain the green card in the US, and that could be done within a year and a half for EB-1A and 2.5 years for EB-2 NIW. Now, what's next? You need to get through the free evaluation. The free evaluation link is below this video. All you need to do is click on it, fill out the form. Within 2 days, I will check your information and will get back to you with the initial analysis whether you have a case between these two visas, which criteria we met and which we need to improve. Look for the word potential. If you have the potential in your petition, I will let you know directly, and your next step is going to be complex immigration planning, where I will develop the written strategy of your case, which you're going to implement with my team for the next 6 months. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make sure you leave the comments and questions below this video. I'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible. My name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.